What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Locks, presented by Scores and Odds. If you haven't checked it out already, just making bad life choices, go on over to scoresandodds.com where you got picks from me, Meansy, Dino, all the greats, plus access to our nice little prop shopping tool where you can see exactly what we have project for each individual prop, plus where the best lines are at. And most importantly, you get access to Grant's Action Lounge. What is Grant's Action Lounge? Well, it's my Discord where I'm throwing in all my picks each and every day so you can get in there before the odds end up moving. Just go to scoresandodds.com/Discord. Just throwing it into the chat now. We got a boatload of bets today. We got a lot of them. A lot of basketball, a lot of baseball. Don't have too many baseball bets yet. Baseball always starts out slow. I generally get crushed the first month of the season. This year has been strangely enough, or not strangely enough, no different. So with so much basketball going on, at least until the playing games, probably going a little bit light on baseball outside of yesterday where there was no basketball to go and we got crushed. So we're just going to get right into the baseball. First off, we have German Marquez under 4.5 strikeouts plus 110 over at Betway or DK. Line just a bit too high here. Gets a tough matchup versus the Dodgers. Dodgers, not a terribly high strikeout team outside of Outman, who just don't have big enough sample size. You can see Betts super low, Freeman super low, Smith super low, Muncy massive walk rate. Marquez struggles at walking lefties, and you have Freeman and Muncy with two of the highest walk rates in the league versus righties. So line's just a bit too high. Not a terribly high strikeout pitcher. It's Marquez anymore, anyways, sitting under 20%. I know some of that's kind of because of the ballpark, or is largely because of the ballpark he plays in, but still not a great strikeout pitcher. And then Domingo German under 4.5 strikeouts too. It says plus 192. I use my 50% profit boost. I think it's plus 128. I want to say. I believe plus 128. Not a terribly high strikeout rate guy. Decent strikeout matchup, obviously. Philly's not at full strength without Bryce Harper in there. Not a great lineup, not terrible, but lots of lefties in there. Mark German does not strike out lefties at a high clip, 14.8%. And you got all the high strikeout bats: Hall, Schwarber, Stott, Cave, Marsh. Well, Stott's not a very high guy, but 5 lefties in that lineup, a little bit too high. And then it's Dinger Tuesday. It's back. Got a few bets. Bregman to hit a home run plus 520 over at FanDuel. Line's just a little bit too low. Going up against Manning. Manning, well, he didn't offer a ton of bombs last season, is probably due for some negative regression. It gives up a decent amount of hard contact, decent amount of fly balls. 2 righties plus this game, fairly high total here. Should be a decent amount of home runs. So you kind of want to plan with Dinger Tuesday to get games that have a decent amount of home runs in them. That's why I went with Varsho. Varsho to hit a home run plus 630 over on FanDuel. Again, a spot where there should be a decent amount of home runs. There's Bubic going up against Kikuchi. And plus, I know it's lefty-lefty, but Varsho, even though he doesn't have great numbers versus lefties last season, Bubic is a reverse splits guy, giving up a lot of power, 237 ISO, 51% hard contact rate to lefties. You look at why. Meant to be a reverse splits guy. He's a fastball, changeup, curveball. Curveball, changeup, massive reverse split pitches. Not as great going up against lefties as they are versus righties. So hence why he's getting hit hard by lefties. And then Jason Vossler, 10 home run, plus 520. Guy's got a decent amount of power. Haven't seen a ton of it so far in the majors just because he hasn't been there too much. But 222 ISO versus righties. Wisniewski, don't have a ton of sample size with him, but overall, not a guy that's going to give up a ton of power, but probably right around average. Playing in Cincinnati, going to be a decent amount of home runs. It's him, and then on the other side it is Sessa, gives up a decent amount of hard contact. So playing in Cincinnati, lots of home runs in that game. Good price on Vossler. Rolling with it. Spencer Dinwiddie over 9.5 assists plus 112 over at Bet Rivers right now is the best line you can find it at. Hit the over in 7 out of the last 8 games. Yes, we're on basketball already. I just keep riding with this and just keeps hitting. Hitting the Cat over and Alt over. So over 21.5 points, minus 125 at Caesars. Over 24.5 points at 25 plus at plus 160 over at Betfred. Cat averages like 28, 29 points per 36 without Russell in the lineup. Had a rough game last time, but outside of that, has been playing decently well recently. Assuming he plays. Doesn't play, obviously, it's no blood there. But just really like this bet. They need to win. Decent matchup going up against the Nets. Then on the other side, going with Bridges. Over 27.5 points, minus 109 at Caesars. 30 plus at plus 140 over at Betfred. Really, really like Bridges. Just continues to crush. Continue to keep hitting it and continue to print some money. Line is too low. Pat Bev, over 2.5 assists, minus 115 at FanDuel. We have him projected for over 3. That line's probably moved over FanDuel, but I think you can still get it minus 117 over at Caesars. Took the alt line on Rudy Gobert, 14.5 points here, plus 135 over at Betfred. Again, that's a pretty drastic difference than not even money at most other sites. Let's see what it says. The line's sitting. Yeah, minus 118 at 13.5 or plus 135 over at other sites. Yeah, I'm going to roll with a 15.5. He's been averaging right around this since Conley came on over, playing pretty well. There's a chance Cat doesn't play, which just gives an upgrade to him. He's getting minutes going up against Claxton, like the over. DeRozan, over 30 or 24.5 points, minus 121 over at Caesars. Line's too low, going up against Atlanta. Got this line still on the board. Same thing with the Vooch line. Both of them are probably off because Trae Young just got ruled out 2 minutes ago. So don't know if it'll change. Don't know if I still love them, but I bet them if they come back at the same line, I'm fine with it. All this game's less likely to be close. Atlanta have been playing at a massive, massive clip since their coach got fired. So even with Trae not in the lineup, I'd expect DeJounte Murray to run it at a pretty decent clip. J-Val going with over 29.5 points, rebound, assists, minus 113 at Caesars. And then we're rolling with the alts with rebounds. Over 11.5 rebounds, minus 120 at Betfred. Over 14.5, that's 15 plus. Rebounds, plus 300 at Betfred. And 18 plus 950 at Betfred. He's been playing low 30s minutes almost every single night. Pelicans still in contention, trying to get into the playoffs here. Trying, if they can, get out of the play-in game. But I don't think that's a likelihood or even maybe even possible right now. But J-Val, line's too low here. Absolutely love it. He's been crushing it. Hit this over at 11.5 and 7 out of the last 8. Hit the over 17.5 and 2 out of the last 8, which is pretty solid. Hit the over 15.5 and like 4 or 5 out of the last 8. So getting these numbers on solid. I just really like the over. Embiid, over 46.5 points, rebounds, assists, minus 109 over at Caesars, and over 31.5 points, minus 113 at Caesars. Has not been playing great the last 3-4 games. I figure that's going to turn around. Going up against Boston, Philly's trying to get at least the 3rd seed, and if they beat Boston tonight, they'll be 2 games out of the 2nd seed. I think Embiid's going to try and show up. It's a big game. He wants that MVP. These lines to me are a bit too low. We're hitting the sharp alts again. Been paying for my house recently. Over 32.5 points, rebound, assists, minus 120 at FanDuel. Over 35 plus 120 at Betfred and Win. And then 40 plus 300 at Win. He's been crushing this. Guy's just been on an absolute tear. Playing all the minutes he can handle, even if the game blows out every single night. Playing 35 plus in each of the last like 6 games. I don't know. Just too low of a line here in the points. I took the slight alt at 25 plus 120. Yeah, just a bad overall line. Rolling with all of them. DeAndre Ayton, over 26.5 points, rebound, assists, had 30 in the last game. Not a terrible matchup here. He should be heavily involved going up against a team in San Antonio that is just awful defensively, just absolutely terrible. I think this line's just a bit too low. They're not going to be able to shut him down at all. They won't be able to shut down any of the options, but it's going to be an ugly game. But still, like Ayton's over. Drew Holiday hit the normal over 18.5, hit the alt over 20 plus at plus 135 at Betfred. Both lines are too low in this spot. No Middleton. Last time, no Middleton. He put up 50 points. Going up against Washington with everyone out. Yes, I am worried about a blowout, but if it's a blowout, Drew Holiday probably got his. And realistically, I'm not going to be surprised if Giannis ends up being a late scratch in this game because they're playing tomorrow in Washington. The Washington B squad is not good. I mean, Johnny Davis, DeLon Wright, Anthony Gill, Gafford, Kispert. It's not good. And then my favorite bet of the day probably is Sengun, rolling all the way up to 40 plus PRA. Over 27.5 points, rebounds, assists, minus 113 at Caesars, 30 plus, plus 140, 35 plus, plus 410, and 40 plus, plus 1200. He's at, I think, 38, 39, and 35 PRA in the last 3 games. They played him 38 minutes in the last one. Chance that Jokic does not end up playing in this. They're going to play him a boatload of minutes regardless of if the game's close or not. Houston has nothing else to play for. None of their games matter. They're locked in to bottom 3 spot in the league, which means that they can't get any more ping pong balls. Sengun is going to crush here. And all these lines are so far off. If you want to hit rebounds alts, you want to hit points alts, if you want to hit assist alts for them, I'm fine with any of them. I just went PRA and just put as much money as they would let me get down on it. Absolutely love this bet. That's it. That's the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Back again tomorrow. We're out of here. Later, kids.